Good evening, one and all. Once again, welcome to the Winslow Township Board of Education regular board meeting. Tonight, I'll be sitting in for our president, who is getting a much needed rest. So bear with me as we work through this agenda and get us completed and get us on to the next phase of our journey. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates, and a notice stated January 5th, 2024. Adequate and electronic notice of this public meeting has been provided, specifying the time, place, and manner in which these meetings is being conducted. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration office, the municipal building, the library, the Bud Dougal Center, Edward Acres, Elm Town, and the Winslow Township Post Office. Mission statement for the Winslow Township School District reads as follows. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, caring and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community and in the climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourage students to strive for personal excellence, and assist them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and attitude necessary to contribute positivity to a rapid changing world. Roll call.
Mr. Askew.
Present.
Ms. Stratton. Here. Ms. Martin. Present. Ms. Nieves. Present. Ms. Peterson. Present. Mr. Shaw.
Present.
Ms. Thomas. Present. Mr. Thomas.
Present.
And Ms. Pitts.
She will be absent.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I ask you?
District goal.
District goal.
District goal is student achievement
achievement, continue to implement best practices for delivering instruction to students, utilizing all available and appropriate instructional models. This shall include develop plans to increase the graduation rate, decrease chronic absenteeism, increase in benchmark scores in fourth grade ELA end of year, accountability for all district staff and stakeholders. 2, increase parent caregiver engagement in education, provide opportunities for two-way communication with district stakeholders, implement the culture climate survey. 3, market our strengths and achievement to all stakeholders to increase capacity for greater parent, caregiver, and community support. By working with communications consortiums, continue with our public relations and marketing plan, continue to work with the various advisory committees in the district, focus on refining our communication methods and messages to better market our school district.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. Dr. Poteet, will there be any awards or presentations?
There will be no awards and presentations this evening, Mr. Vice President.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Superintendent. Ms. Boyle, will there be any correspondence at this time?
Yes, Madam, excuse me, yes, Mr. Vice President. We do have one piece of correspondence. It came in it's from the New Jersey School Boards Association. It's dated March 12, 2024, and it reads in part, Dear Joe Thomas, congratulations. You have satisfied all the requirements for the new board member boardsmanship certification through the New Jersey School Board Association's Board Member Academy. Those requirements include earning a minimum of 10 credits through attendance at academy sessions, the New Jersey School Board Association and annual workshop, and a variety of county programs. The new board member award recognizes professional development in areas critical to effective school board governance. We commend you for your commitment to your school district and for dedicating substantial time and effort to improve your skills and knowledge. It concludes, it is my honor to congratulate you on your achievement and to thank you for your dedication and commitment to the students of your community. Be well and be safe. Sincerely, Timothy Purnell, ED, Doctor, Executive Director and CEO.
Thank you, there, Ms. Boyle. We're truly grateful. We're going to move along to our minutes. I will now request a motion to approve the following meeting minutes of the Board of Education. Regular meeting Wednesday, February 28, 2024, and open and closed sessions. Is there a motion?
Peterson move for approval of the minutes for the closed and open session on February the 28th, 2024.
Ms. Martin, seconds.
Moved by Mrs. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Comments or questions? Roll call.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Abstain.
Ms. Martin,
Abstain.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
and the motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. I will now proceed to the board committee reports. Is our student rep here? I will start with our athletic committee. Do I have a report from the athletic committee?
Yes, we do, Mr. Thomas. Winslow winning athletic updates. The New Balance National has sophomore Olivia Acaro closing out her indoor season with a huge personal record, running 57.49. Record alert on day 2 of the New Balance Nationals. The Winslow girls track team broke the existing school record in the sprint medley relay, running 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Congratulations, ladies, for putting it all out there. Great day number 1 at the New Balance Indoor Nationals. Jasmine placed 4th in the middle school 400, running 58.4. Mariah placed 5th in the same race, both running 58.6. Cece placed 4th in the freshman 400, running 57.2.
Tristan ran a season best at 1 minute and 1 second. Sky ran 59.6. Great job, ladies. Super sophomore Messiah Bronner on being selected to the South Jersey track. Let me just give you the initial.
Coaches Association, I believe.
Okay. All South Jersey team as the multi-event performer of the year. For the 55 hurdles at 8.45 seconds. The long jump at 19'3". What's somebody help me out with the TJ? Because I don't know what that was.
Triple jump.
Triple jump, okay. 39'3", and the high jump at 5'4". What a great meet of champions. The Winslow girls track team out on an amazing show. Freshman Sanaya Robinson placed 7th in the 400. Brooklyn Roberts placed 5th in the shot put with a major personal record of 39'3". And one of the most versatile athletes in the state, Messiah Bronner, placed in all of her individual events. Messiah placed 2nd in the long and triple jump and 3rd in the high jump. The 4x4 team of Sky Seaman and Simone, Olivia Oker and Josiah Dean and Shania Robinson placed 2nd. Congratulations, Jeremiah Jones. For placing 8th in the state championship, Winslow, 7-year-old for placing 8th at the state championship, Winslow Young Wrestling Team.
Thank you so much there, Mr. Shaw. Any questions or comments for that? Okay, moving right along. Will there be a report from our education committee?
No report at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Next one is, will there be a report from our operations committee?
None at this time, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you so much, Ms. Redden. Moving right along, will there be a report from our marketing committee?
None at this time. Our next meeting is next Wednesday at 6 p.m. via Zoom.
Thank you so much. Will there be a report from our policy committee? Not at this time. Next, will there be a report from our CIC?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Winslow Township School District Citizens Advisory Committee, our meeting was on March the 7th, 2024. Beginning at 7:05, the attendance was Faye Cooks, Wanda Glaude, Meg Hogan, Diane McKenzie, Christy Randuli, Marcy Tomasello, Greg Waite. Absent were Rosemary Hoffman, Jennifer Miles. Representing the Board of Education was Rita Martin. A brief discussion was held about the CAC's role and how we can reach more parents for their input. Suggestions included more social media exposure with pictures on the district website, members attending events, members adopting the school. Also, Ms. Martin suggested ways to gain accessibility to the buildings. Lengthy discussion on technology in the schools, specifically Chromebook availability and making Chromebooks available to all students for use at home and school during the 2024-25 school year. Assigning technology to students will not only allow students to the proper resources for schoolwork, but will also bridge the gap with parents. Parents without home computers will be able to access the parent portal and contact teachers, as well as many other aspects of their child's learning experience. This encouraging more parental engagement. It was suggested that money be put in the budget each year to purchase Chromebooks so that students of all grade levels eventually will have one. It is suggested that to start with the middle school and high school as the first schools to receive them for the next fall year. Parent engagement ideas were discussed, including the following. Having parents required to sign up for the parent portal at the beginning of each school year. Improve and update our website to make mobile optimized. It is extremely hard for parents in the community to find information from mobile devices, and evidence shows that most individuals search on mobile devices in this current age. Maintain update on all websites, main pages, and school pages. Update school district and school Facebook. Update district and school Facebook pages regularly. Professional days were discussed as well. specifically the need for all staff to be included in areas that will improve safety and other relevant topics, secretarial and security officers to be included in these professional days. Official recommendations by the CAC, proposed cell phone policy was discussed and the CAC approved, making a recommendation to the board to table the second reading and send the proposed policy back to the policy committee to reconsider and make revisions as necessary. Rita agreed, Ms. Martin agreed to make a motion at the March 13th Board of Education meeting to table the second reading. She also agreed to send a copy of our recommendation to the board members so that they would have it prior to the meeting. A second recommendation was approved by the CAC. The CAC is recommending at this meeting that all the data from the climate survey be distributed to the public. The CAC further recommends that the action plans for the district in each building that were mentioned by Dr. Poteet, based off of the survey results, be made available to the public as well, so they can see the action steps occurring and the progress being made. Other topics that we discussed was paging system at the high school went down, creates a safety hazard, and all repairs should be done as quickly as possible. Band room door is missing a door, which poses safety concerns during lockdown and should be fixed quickly. Human trafficking education as a possible topic for the school to address with students. Have the district take full advantage of the many free resources offered in our township by nonprofit groups to help our students in many needed areas. Promote these resources on our website. Use the district website to introduce and promote these organizations. This will enable the district to expand its resources at no cost to them. Our meeting was adjourned at 9:27 p.m. And I would like to read, the last two things I'd like to read is the recommendations that the Citizen Advisory Committee has tonight, that was approved by all members that were present. The Citizens Advisory Committee is recommending at this meeting the aggregated collected data from the climate survey be distributed to the public. The CAC further recommends that the action plan for the district and each building that were mentioned by Dr. Poteet, based off of the survey results, be made available to the public as well, so they can see the action steps occurring and the progress being made. The second recommendation by the CAC, based on valid concerns by the parents and students on the proposed changes to the district cell phone policy made on the last Board of Education meeting, the Citizens Advisory Committee is recommending that the board members table the second reading on the policy change and send the proposed policy change back to the policy committee for further reconsideration and revision as necessary. The proposed policy does not allow for teachers to have students use their cell phones during their classes for instructional purposes. It doesn't allow students to use their cell phones at lunch to check for messages to or from work, home, or their coaches or teachers. Also, the 2-day out-of-school suspension on the first infraction needs to be reconsidered. And that concludes the CAC minutes from our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rowe. Any questions, comments?
Vice President,
Yes.
the CSA has made a recommendation. The CAC has made a recommendation, and we're asking if we could table the recommendation prior to public comment.
When we get to that first portion, which I believe is next, then you can make a recommendation to,
At that
make a
time.
motion to table it.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, so right now, we're at the superintendent's report. Asking for a motion to approve the superintendent report and his recommendations that starts in the middle of page 2 and goes to the bottom of page 6. Is there a motion?
Peterson move for approval of the superintendent's report, which includes recommendations for action. Item A and B, under A, 1 through 29, and then B, found on page 2 through 6.
Second, Ms. Martin.
Moved by Ms. Peters, second by Ms. Martin. Comments, questions?
Question, does that include tabling the, with the CAC's recommendation?
Hasn't been made yet.
Where is that?
It's under
It's
number
under
2.
Superintendent reports.
Yes, I'm number 1.
Two.
Question.
Okay, so you have a motion and a second to approve the superintendent's report. And there was a question asked, does this include the adoption of the item number 2, which is the second reading of policy 5516, use of electronic devices? And yes, it does, because no one's made a motion otherwise.
It's too late to make a motion.
No,
No.
and so,
At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we table page 2, number 10, A2.
Yeah, that's second.
so there's a motion to table A2, which is the cell phone policy, electronic device policy, and a second. A motion to table by Robert's Rules of Order takes priority over other motions. It's also not subject to debate under Robert's Rules of Order, which is something that I've looked at in the past. So there would be a roll call on a motion before we move the entire superintendent's report on the motion and the second to table item 2 on the proposed policy. It does require 5 affirmative votes to be tabled. A 4-4 means it does not. There's 8 people here tonight. So 4-4 means it is not tabled, and then we'll proceed under the regular agenda if unsuccessful. If successful, then it is tabled and we move forward without that item. So if there's a motion, a second, Mrs. Boyle, it would be appropriate to take a roll call on item superintendent's report A2, which is the policy under consideration at that location.
Mr. Askew,
No.
Ms. Dredden,
No.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
No.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Neanders,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
No.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
So it's a 4 yes, Mrs. Boyle, and a 4 no. So the motion to table does not carry, meaning it's included in the motion and second to approve.
And I'd like to make a motion to move public comment prior to us voting on this.
Well, the ability to control the agenda and move the agenda would be appropriate to go to the individual who is chairing the meeting, who has the ability to move the agenda and move agenda items along. That is the public portion is on page 13. So we'd be moving it up to this point in the middle of a motion and a second, which is highly unusual, but I guess you could do it. It would be up to you, Mr. Thomas, but you may want to poll your board to see if they would be in agreement to do that.
Who's in agreement with changing the public comments to be moved up into a right now stage?
So you're making a motion?
No, I'm not making a motion.
No, entertain a motion for changing the order of the day?
Yes. Entertain, I'm asking for a motion to change the order of the day.
Motion to change the order of the day.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Nueva, and I have a second by Ms. Martin. Roll call?
Mr. Askew,
No.
Ms. Dredden,
No.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
No.
and Mr. Thomas.
No.
Well, I got my check marks messed up, so I'm gonna need your help.
I have 4-4.
Yeah, so it doesn't carry.
So it just goes into the same order.
Yes.
All right, let's move right along. We're moving along, board members. I'm at the top of page 7, asking for a motion to approve the business administration reports.
No,
We haven't approved that.
No, there was a motion in a
So
second,
let's go back to that.
still pending on the superintendent's report that, Mr. Thomas respectfully, starts in the middle of page 2 and ends at the end of page 6. Thanks. No, do not. We have a motion in a second.
All right. Any comments or questions? Roll call?
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes, with the exception of page 2, A2.
And will your vote on that, Ms. Martin?
My vote on that is no.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes, but also accepting item A2.
And your vote on that is no, Ms. Nieves? Thank you.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes, with the exception of item number number 2, that's a no.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomas.
Yes, with the exception of item A2, my vote on that was a no.
So the superintendent report is, and the items listed therein are all approved. The vote on item A2 is 4-4, which means that is not approved.
Moving along, board members, I'm at the top of page 7, asking for a motion to approve the business administrative reports and recommendations, beginning at the top of page 7 and goes to the bottom of page 10. Is there a motion?
Peterson move for approval of the Business Administrative Board Secretary report and recommendations found on page 1 through 18, item A and B.
Second, Ms. Martin?
Move has been made by Ms. Peterson and second by Ms. Martin. Comments, questions? Roll call.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomas.
Thank you. Moving along.
Mr. Thomas, did you vote?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Motion is carried.
Okay, moving along, I just have a change for the personnel report. Under A3, resignations. Approve the following resignation for the 2023-2024 school year. We're looking to delete that. Okay, so I'm at the top of page 11, asking for a motion to approve the personnel report and recommendation. Begins at the top of page 11 and goes to the middle of page 12. Is there a motion?
Peterson moves for approval of the superintendent's personnel report, the superintendent's recommendations, approval of the following action items: 1 through 2, 4 through 6, found on page 11 through 12.
Second, Ms. Martin?
We got a motion by Ms. Peterson. We got a second by Ms. Martin. Roll call.
Mr. Askew,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Nieves,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
All right, folks, we going to addendum, and that's that pink sheet that we have, that's The addendum, we got 3 different topics on the addendum. The first one would be the superintendent's report. I am asking for a motion to approve the addendum on page 1, starting with the superintendent's report and going to the middle of that page 1.
Peterson move for approval of the superintendent's report, which requires recommendations for approval for action items. Item A, 1 and 2.
Second, Ms. Martin?
Ms. Peterson made a motion to accept the report. I have a second by Ms. Martin. Comments or questions? Roll call.
Mr. Askew?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Neander?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes, with accolades to, the village of Camden County.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
The motion has carried.
Going on to that same pink copy, asking for a motion to approve the addendum of the administrator's report that starts on that page 1 and goes all the way to the middle of the 3rd page. Is there a motion?
Peterson move for approval of the business administrative board secretary's report. Board secretary's recommendations for approval of the following action items 1 through 5, found on page 1 through 3.
Second, Ms. Martin?
I have a move by Ms. Peterson. I have a second by Ms. Martin. Comments or questions? Roll call.
Mr. Askew?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Neander?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
We're still on that page 3. In the middle of page 3, we're going down to the bottom of page 3, asking for a motion to approve the addendum under the personnel report.
Peterson move for approval of the personnel report, superintendent's recommendation of approval for the following action items 1 through 7, found on page 3 through 4.
Second, Ms. Martin?
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Comments or questions? Roll call.
Mr. Askew?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Neander?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Moving along to page 12, Open Public Records Act. Ms. Boyle, are there any?
Yes, Mr. Thomas, between the period of January 23rd, 2024 and March 7th, we received and responded to 2. One was Melanie Burney from the Philadelphia Inquirer. She requested the settlement between the Winslow Township School District and Matthew Grossman and Michael Del Garcio in the civil lawsuit against the district and former teacher. Okay, Howard, for Nicholas Zakaria. The second one came from Jim Walsh from the Courier Post. Settlements, lawsuits against Winslow District by Matthew Grossman and Michael Garcia. And those were the 2 that we received and responded to.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Just moving right along. Informational items. Are there any informational items for tonight, Dr. Poteet?
Yes, I have one information item, Mr. Thomas, but before we move to the information items, I just wanted to go back and mention that the board approved tonight on page 6, number 26, the preschool budget workshop. That preschool program is, of course, for 3 and 4-year-olds here in the Winslow Township School District. It's an excellent program. We are able to service 3 and 4-year-olds here in the community. The registration process is now ongoing. I'm encouraging all the parents who have a 3 and 4-year-old by October 1st to get that registration done as soon as possible. There are only 15 students per class. Those classrooms fill up really fast, but it's an excellent program, so we're encouraging the parents to take advantage of that as soon as possible. I would also like to acknowledge on the same page, number 29, the acceptance of a donation of $1,000 from Mr. Thomas in support of number 28, the social emotional learning intramural program at School 6. will also hopefully enhance School 5. We're looking at doing some things a little differently to help those young people outside of the classroom to do some things that will help develop those skills that are necessary for them to be successful. So I just wanted to point those items out. I have one informational item. There is a need of a special meeting of the board to approve the tentative budget for the 2024-25 school year. That approval must be submitted to the state by March 20th. Therefore, I'm recommending to the board this evening that you consider holding a meeting on Tuesday, March 19th at 6 or 6:30, whatever your preference is, so that we can meet that deadline and get that tentative budget approved.
Does anyone have an objection for not meeting on Tuesday, March 19th? Is that possible that we can all meet at what time you said, Esther?
At 6 or 6:30, whichever is convenient for the majority of the board.
Questions, comments on that?
No, if no one has any objection, then we'll set that date.
6 o'clock.
This board will advertise that as a special meeting.
6 o'clock Tuesday.
Yes. March 19th.
Any objections? 6:30?
Perhaps 6:30.
Whichever is convenient for you, 6 or 6:30. Is it 6:30 or 6 o'clock?
6:30.
6:30.
6:30. 6:30 it is, because it is very important that all board members are present. Mr. Thomas, that concludes my information items for this evening.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. We're moving into old business. Is there any old business that needs to be discussed?
I actually had a question. I was in receipt of the minutes from the last team summit meeting. I was just curious if we have any details on how that event is going to run and what the purpose of the event is, because it wasn't clear tonight.
That's being chaired by Ms. Kelly Thomas. Ms. Kelly Thomas, do you want to answer any questions that Mr. Weathers may have?
So, I'm sorry, the question was, the purpose and the format. I understand that students are participating, what is their role, and what are any organizations who may be attending as well.
So students at the middle school, 7th and 8th grade, will participate in panel discussions. So there will be 4 panel discussions. It is, the students will be coming out with 8 questions, actually. We have 2 liaisons at the middle school that will be working with the students to create the panel discussions. The youth organization will be there to give information to the students and hopefully have them sign up to participate in those programs.
Now, is this only open to middle school students or is it the entire district?
Middle school, 7th and 8th grade only. And Mr. Thomas, do you mind, I know it's not an official committee, but I can read my minutes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the Teen Summit committee met on March 6th at 12:30. In attendance was Dr. Booty, Dr. Carcamo, Joe Thomas, Julie Peterson, and Kelly Thomas. The committee discussed youth organizations in the community that are confirmed to table the Teen Summit and other potential youth organizations that will be invited to table the summit. And those confirmed organizations are South County Library, NAACP Youth Chapter, Girls Learning Over, Stepping Stone, Marlins Football and Cheerleading, and Eagles Nest. Dr. Carcamo will be meeting with Principal Shopsteiner, the Teen Summit liaison, and Ms. Callahan, both guidance counselors at the middle school, and are working on planning a schedule to meet with the students who are interested in participating in the summit panel. As of today, those dates have been confirmed. Mr. Shropshire is also distributing flyers and information to students at the middle school to increase student participation. Students will be able to register to attend through their guidance counselors. And that date of the summit is April 20th, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. I'm also part of the committee, and that committee is doing some good things to impact our schools and our community, especially at a young age. And it's commendable work. All right, any new business? Any new business?
Thomas, before you move forward, the Teen Summit, what is the time for the Teen Summit?
The time is 10 to 3,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Any more questions? Any concerns? All right, we're gonna close old business. We're gonna go down to new business. Is there any new business? Questions, comments, concerns? All right, moving right along. Now we're gonna go into public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Before I begin, I would like to say that, having been at the last board meeting, I know when we were at the auditorium at the high school, there were comments made with respect to the board electronic device policy. That policy was listed for second reading tonight. And while I don't ever dissuade anyone from the opportunity to speak at a public meeting in accordance with our rules and regulations, that motion has failed, so that policy did not take effect tonight and will not take effect tonight. And any future action will be advertised, placed on our agenda, and be made available to the public. Was it 4?
Yeah, 4-4.
Didn't pass?
It did pass. You
Didn't
said it failed.
Pardon?
No, it was failed. It did fail.
Which 4? What was the vote on the? The table was 4-4. What was the vote on the motion to approve it?
It's 4-4, same thing.
It doesn't pass. Need 5 votes to pass.
Okay,
Does not pass.
okay.
Yep, absolutely. 4-4 does not pass. It needs 5 affirmative votes. So you needed 5 votes to table it, you needed 5 votes to pass it. So what didn't occur through it being tabled occurred through the 4-4 vote. That's why I said to Mrs. Boyle, I lost track. I had recorded 9 votes, and I know that's impossible, because there's only 8 people here. So, in my recollection, I thought everybody essentially voted the same way as they did during the motion to table. But there was a motion to move the superintendent's report, and 4 individuals said, but no as to that item 2. So it does absolutely require 5 votes. I've confirmed that, wasn't playing on my phone, I was confirming that through the legal research and through confirmation with one of my partner who both agree 100% that a 4-4 means that it fails. Now, you do not have to go through a first reading again, because it did pass first reading, but if it's relisted or modified, if it's modified, you have to go through a first reading. If it's put back on the agenda in the same form, and then in that case, it can be considered at the next meeting for second reading, but not tonight. So, any questions on that? Are we clear? I'm sorry if that wasn't clear, but I thought I made that, I thought I said that at the time. I apologize. So with that being said and clarified, the Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of citizens in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We believe in the rights of citizens to observe board meetings, to ensure that all of our citizens have the opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district. We ask that the speakers follow the guidelines for making public comment. The school board secretary will recognize those individuals in the audience who wish to make comment. We would ask that you kindly respect the following procedures. 1, all members of the public attending school board meetings must treat each other and the board with respect. 2, please state your full name and your town of residence. 3, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. 4, submit your questions to the Board of Education with your name, address, and telephone number where you can be contacted. Your questions will be answered within a reasonable time frame in the event we're unable to do so tonight. Lastly, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, board member, other testifier, or other member of the public. Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Ms. Boyle, you have a list for public comment?
I move that we open our meeting to public comment.
Second, Ms. Martin.
We got a move by Ms. Peterson, we got a second by Ms. Martin.
Take a voice vote.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Any nays? Ms. Boyle?
Ms. Wanda Gold.
Good evening once again. My name is Wanda Claude.
Thank you.
Yes. Just three things and I'm gonna make it real fast, okay? So I don't want any responses to this, all right? Last meeting that I came to, I asked the board to please, give us as the public, your goals, your actionable goals, your measurable goals that you're doing, and for your goals, for the district goals and the board education goals. So far, I have not received a phone call nor email or anything to let me know what has been done, what has been taking place, and where we stand with any of those goals. The next thing is the cell phone policy. I find I'm totally disappointed tonight that the board did not give it an opportunity to be tabled for the policy review board to go back and re-look at the policy. I do appreciate that it wasn't second for tonight, but I'm totally disappointed that it does not matter to you what the concerns are from our community in regards to that policy. And third, in regards to the Chromebooks, I went and visited a school today, Hamilton High School. One, walking into that school was a breath of fresh air versus walking into Winslow Township High School. Second, the opportunities that they offer in that school for it to be such a small district, I am totally surprised that Winslow Township don't offer those same things for us being one of the larger districts in Camden County. So I would ask if any of the board members, if you have a free time or an opportunity to go visit some of the surrounding schools and see how they are up to date today with technology where Winslow Township is not. And we're not providing that for our kids and our school district to be ready to move out from this school district into the world of digital. So if you can all please take the opportunity to go visit some of the surrounding schools, Williamstown, Camden High and Camden, which is an urban area, has it, and also Hamilton. Those schools are offering the technology and the movement for their kids to keep excelling for the future. Thank you.
I'm gonna apologize. Jose, not that part. Sarah Dua.
First, I want to second what Ms. Gloves said. And then next, so the New Jersey Legislature aims to amend the Oprah Open Public Records Act in the next coming weeks, possibly next week. So these amendments will severely obstruct the citizens' ability to obtain government and public records that would have been easily obtained prior to the changes of Oprah. And with that being said, so how does this board plan on responding when the changes of Oprah are enacted into law? And specifically when it comes to maintaining openness and transparency as is expected in a democratic body, and when it comes to processing and fulfilling those Oprah requests.
We follow the law.
So you're not going, so even though they're gonna make it harder now, they're still going to.
There's these folks up here, when they're sworn in, take an oath. They will follow the laws of the United States, the laws of the state of New Jersey. And I know that some have taken the position that the Oprah laws will make it more difficult for the public to obtain records. I think for the common citizen, that's not completely accurate, with all due respect. I think for those requests that come in from businesses that are data mining to use our information to solicit their own personal business, I think to that extent, it will have an impact. I can tell you that the board office does spend a considerable amount of time all in favor of transparency. I've not looked specifically at the bill to know what it says, but I have seen what both sides have said about that. But it's not that they're gonna do or not do, it's they're gonna follow what the law is because they have to.
It gives broad discretion to whoever is the record holder to just deny on the basis of harassment. And that there's no follow-up on it, so that's just my only concern.
So right now, there's no such thing as harassment, and so somebody could come in and
No,
ask
that's
for something
the new bill will
like
just allow
100 times,
broad-
100 times, and still can't say no. and they're just, and there are times that people do try to use it as a harassing device. And frankly, I'm in favor of the way it works presently, but my opinion doesn't count. And the school board is secondary and is subject to the supremacy clause of the New Jersey Constitution, which means that if they pass a law at the state level, we must follow it here. If we don't, we can lose funding. There's a lot of things that we can lose if we don't follow the law. We get cited in audits that we receive. So this board, as long as I'm the solicitor, will follow the laws. And if there's an objection, which a lot of people have, it's not law yet, I would suggest that you direct your attention to the state legislature and your local legislators who represent you, and let them know, as you very articulately did tonight, of your opposition to any change.
Thank you for your time for today.
You're welcome.
Debbie Murphy?
Good evening. I'm Debbie Murphy, and I live in Splitville. As you guys probably already know, I'm a current junior at the high school. Today, again, I'm coming to you to speak on the cell phone policy. It is a big thing to the school, to the student body of the high school. As you know, technology is currently a part of our world. Yeah, the school district's first goal that you say at every meeting is talking about student achievement, but yet we're suspending students for as simple as checking their time in the hallway or checking their messages from their parents or other people. I agree that using our cell phone is wrong and there should be appropriate consequences, but why are we suspending? And why can't we look at other consequences such as detention, ISF, or what about even community service? We must reconsider the proposed cell phone policy. Studies show that suspensions are unproductive form of punishment. Our forces need to shift toward ensuring our pupils remain within the school premises with watering technology for their advance, since Winslow Township acknowledges its importance for college preparation. And yeah, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you for your time.
Ezekiel Torado Jr.
Good afternoon, board members. I hope your evening has found you well. I'm Ezekiel Trotter Jr., 12th grade high school student. I've come this evening to address, as stated from Ms. Claude and Debbie Murphy, about the cell phone policy, as well as what Ms. Claude mentioned earlier, the band room door being absent. Firstly, I would like to say that the suggested phone policy does not align with the best interests of our students. Suspension should be considered the last resort, as research has demonstrated its ineffectiveness in addressing student behavior. It is crucial for us to prioritize having our students present on campus and embrace technology, as it will greatly benefit our future. In address to the band room door, I am representing the Winslow Township band as the drumline captain, and it is not only the band door, but also a classroom that holds the orchestra, concert band, and marching band within it. The band door has been missing since the end of the winter break, meaning the beginning of January. Filed multiple reports on it, and since then we have heard nothing back from our supervisors about the missing band door. It is very important, as our music department of band is one of the loudest and most disturbing to the classes within the hallway. as well as our upcoming musical taking place next week. It will also be a dressing room for the females, so we would need to find some sort of replacement or figure out some sort of replacement for the dressing room, as they have nowhere to change for the musical, and there are multiple changes within the 2-hour period. That is all I have to say.
Madison Anderson.
Good evening.
Yeah.
My name is Madison Anderson. I'm a junior at the Winslow Township High School. I have amendment proposal for the cell phone policy. I have 373 signatures for the policy for the cell phones. This is all student representation on, the policy and how we feel on it. At the top, it is written, the student body of Winslow Township High School, united as one voice, would like to express our concerns with the unfair punishment being set forth by the new cell phone policy. We, the undersigned, do not agree to punish the punishment of suspension from the school is just or fair. We need to be in school and our school records free of blemishes in order to ensure our best future and lifelong opportunities. We hope that you embrace our technology as our future. Please support us by amending our proposed policy and reflect teachers' discretion with consequences, starting with detention and maintaining suspension as our last resort. And I have a ton of signatures here. I feel as if we should be allowed to use our cell phones in the hallways, in the courtyard, and like if coaches or teachers text us or if we need a ride home or something. The Chromebooks, they're pretty beat up, so cell phones in the classrooms for like educational use for teachers' discretion is very important, and the band door. I'm in the musical, and it's coming up the 21st and through the 23rd. We're performing Beauty and the Beast. Everybody's welcome to join. It is a very amazing production. But yeah, band door is a very big problem. So, thank you.
You can bring me the 6 people. And then Sandy Anderson.
Good evening, board. My name is Sandy Anderson. I am a parent of 2 high school students at the high school. I am following up my daughter. I did sign up for time in case she ran out. I do actually also want to really touch base with you on the detrimental new policy with suspensions in general as an option in our township and in our district. I implore you to educate yourself on the most recent findings, on the other opportunities there are to use that time to better help our students. Instead of having a detention, a suspension, an internal suspension, these are times when we have our students who are at the most risk of repeat offenders or making other poor choices. This is when they have access to behavioral health services, social workers, anyone who can help these students to go onto a different path or route. There is a student in our district who is currently served 45 days suspension. That to me is just absolutely awful. We are literally shutting the door on his future, regardless of what their offense is. One rotten mistake should not take away their education. There are other ways to reach these children at an earlier age, even at our elementary kids that are fighting and getting into problems. Put them in a detention with a therapist. bring those parents in and help them to give those students the leadership skills they need early on, and stop just throwing our students away with suspensions. It's enough's enough. You guys really need to think about this and educate yourselves on other options. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marissa Green.
Good evening. I'm Marissa Green. I'm a sophomore here at Winslow Township High School. Tonight I came out because of the crucial aspects of the school disciplinary policy. Most students here at Winslow Township High School have been subjected to immediate suspension for not wanting to give up their phones for two validated reasons. Number one, the school subjectively isn't responsible for losing any personal devices, which is unfair. And number two, parents waste a whole month of phone bill money down the drain if said child gives up their phone. We understand that we shouldn't be on our phones, and it is our responsibility to use them when we need it, but we use it, which we take responsibility for. But the suspension for our cell phones is quite a lot. I myself, May 2023, have been suspended for 4 days for my cell phone, which was fairly cruel. Another thing that I'd like to point out is every time that a student gets suspended, our absences are taken away. These days can be used for vacation, a personal day, mental health day, any type of day that you may need, and those suspensions take away those days. With this in mind, I believe the district should be committed to implementing alternate disciplinary policies rather than focusing on the punitive acts. Instead of immediate suspension after refusal of giving up cell phone, we should be able to have options of after-school detention or in-school suspension. So that way that students can reflect on their actions and receive additional support to address any underlying issues. Adding on to this also gives us a chance to still be counted in school instead of having that absence. And as I'm aware of the teacher, this was an option back in the day, but I believe that this should be given back. With implementing these alternate punishments, students can aim to be more engaged in education while addressing behavior issues effectively. Plus, we can be more academically focused and engaged more within class instead of being punished for small inconvenience. Furthermore, I think there should be open communication within the students, parents, and faculty to ensure that disciplinary actions are fair and transparent. I urge all members of our school board to support these ideas in disciplinary policy. If accepted, we can create an environment where students can feel empowered to take responsibility for their actions and grow into responsible members of the society. Winslow can become stronger if students stand up more. We don't deserve these punishments, we just need clarity. Thank you.
Rosa Hill.
Hi, my name is Rosa Hill, resident of Winslow Township. I'm here because on February 8th, my grandson was suspended for having a cell phone. He was texting me to say, can you pick me up after school? He's an honor student. I've never had any detention prior to that. And we respected that he broke the rule, he was suspended, and he had a letter put in his file. I spoke to the teacher to make sure there was no other problems in the classroom. And I want to tell you boards that that if this policy is passed, please make sure that the teachers are aware of what the consequences are. Because I had the teacher tell me, had I known what the consequences were, I would not have sent him. He's an exemplary student. He has a positive attitudes toward learning in school. He is courteous and respectful to the teacher. And it was embarrassing from an ex-employee from this district for a teacher to tell me they were not aware of what the consequences were. My concern now is, since this was, they acted on it in February 8th, I've asked, we can't reverse that he was suspended. However, can his file be taken out of his file? Because he's an athlete who's looking to be recruited, and I'm concerned what it's going to reflect on in his file. And no one, the principal said to me, I can't do anything. I'm just following administrative orders. But again, please be clear with the staff that they know what the consequences. You want the kids to know, but make sure that they are aware, because it's embarrassing when a teacher has to tell you that they were not aware of the consequences for this behavior, and apologize. Thank you.
Debbie Scullion? Scullion.
Good evening.